Travel at low cost with points and miles. Credit card rewards bring the smiles. Many adventures, tales to be told. Make and save money, the world will unfold. Fight the war on happiness, pick up the gold. Gurdy Travel Podcast breaks the mold.
You're listening to the Hurdy Travel Podcast. I'm your host, Justin Vacula, here to help you save money, make money, and travel the world at next to no cost with credit card points, miles, benefits, and loyalty programs. Thanks for joining me for today's episode, ZorkFest 2025 with Michael Trager. We talk about the upcoming Gambling, Miles, and Points Conference taking place December 5th through the 7th in Las Vegas. Visit meetup.com/Philly Miles and Points to RSVP for monthly Greater Philadelphia travel, credit miles and points meetups I host in Willow Grove, Pennsylvania. The next monthly meetings are September 28th and October 19th, 2025. Find a link in the show notes. For more content between episodes, follow Hurdy Travel Podcast on Facebook and X. Follow Justin Vacula on Instagram. Subscribe to Hurdy Travel Podcast on YouTube for daily content, including travel videos, podcast clips, and posts. Find more information at hurdytravel.com. On with today's episode, recorded September 22nd, 2025. Welcome back to the podcast, Michael Trager.
Thank you for having me.
And nice to see you, as we met quite recently, maybe a week or two ago in Chicago at the Loyalty Summit.
Yeah, that was great. Is that the first Loyalty Summit you've been to, or the second?
The first one for me.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was really nice, and it was cool. You got to go on stage with a representative from MGM Rewards.
Anil is pretty much so the head of their loyalty program. And if I recall the history correctly, he's the one who did the transition from M Life to MGM Rewards. So his team has been involved with that. And MGM is, I guess we could argue it, but I still think in the big picture of big casino loyalty programs, or in comparison to all the casino loyalty programs, MGM Rewards is probably the best casino loyalty program, best in quotations, because best means different things to different people. And they actually, I think they won an award for best program from the Frequent Traveler Awards that they did, that's in conjunction with the Loyalty Summit. So it was pretty cool. And we spoke a little bit about emotional connections and recognition and benefits and VIP experiences and things like that. So I thought it was a pretty good conversation.
Yes, and I've been extremely happy with MGM Rewards adding another cruise with the gold status, increasing benefits for the cruises, having reciprocal tier earning. So I think they've done a lot of great things in 2025, especially compared to Caesars Rewards that always seems to be devaluing. And that's a good point. It's not M Life, so please stop calling it M Life. It's MGM Rewards. And of course, Caesars does not have an apostrophe. RIP to Daryl, our former friend.
Yeah, it's actually the apostrophe comment. I had a funny conversation with a couple of things which are interesting. So it was always, it was Harrah's Total Rewards, and then it became Caesars Rewards. And then when MGM went from M Life to MGM, then they went to from M Life to MGM Rewards, it's actually funny if you think about it, because it parallels, right? Now you have Caesars Rewards and MGM Rewards, right? The names are the same. I never liked the M Life name. Maybe it's a little bit of the Daryl in me, but I could never understand if you're supposed to do capital M and then lowercase life,
Ooh.
capital M, uppercase L, or M-life. I also never, like when you were writing articles, is this one word or is it two words? And then you would see it drove me. I was like, this name is just driving me crazy if you're like slightly like specific with things and you want to do it the right way. So I was so happy when they renamed it MGM Rewards. Regarding the apostrophe for Caesars, and there's an article on TravelZork about that. There is no apostrophe in Caesars, and I'm about to edit. I was just editing that article this weekend a little bit, and I'm going to republish it on TravelZork, but it's an interesting story. But Jay Sarno, it's like everyone is a Caesar. So it's not like Caesar's, like his palace. but it's like everyone is a Caesar kind of thing.
Ah,
Caesar's palace. But that's really why that's there. So the apostrophe is like totally wrong because it's not meant.
yes,
That was
extreme,
meant to be the
100%
way.
wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And it is what some people get so mad at me when I like correct that. I'm like, I know, but that's just there is no apostrophe.
One thing's for sure, ZorkFest does not have an apostrophe. So let's get to that. Can you give us a quick elevator pitch for ZorkFest 2025?
The quick elevator pitch for ZorkFest 2025 is that, in my personal opinion, I think it's the best combination of miles and points and travel loyalty conference that's out there, mostly because it integrates travel loyalty and casino loyalty. Our big like bullet points are learn more about using points, how to redeem points for amazing vacations and flights, and also learn and understand more about casino comps. One of the things that I think we do a really good job with is that the conference is totally applicable for beginners, intermediate, advanced. I think a lot of different people get different things out of it. That's relatively hard to do. Another thing that's really good is I think our social events are the best social events out there. I think they're just extremely well put together social events. So that's great. And also, we're super respectful of your time. So, like for ZorkFest, there are things that go on Friday. Most of ZorkFest is all day Saturday. And then we have optional things on Sunday that include masterclasses as well as optional gaming. But what's really cool is you could pretty much so come to the cocktail reception on Friday night, do ZorkFest stuff all day on Saturday, but really have your Friday night free, have your Sunday free, that kind of thing. And you could even, if you didn't want to come to our Podcasters After Dark, which is included in your ticket, have your Saturday night free. So you can still have a really great weekend in Vegas and not have to be in conference rooms all the time. And of course, it's a conference that's in Vegas and everyone wants to go to Vegas as far as location. And if you bring a P2, if you bring a significant other or friend with you, you can do the ZorkFest stuff and still do a lot of other stuff over the weekend. So I think that's extremely compelling. And I know you've been at a couple of ZorkFests and can probably attest to the fact kind of format works well.
Oh, absolutely. I'm here endorsing it as we're hosting the episode and looking forward to speaking. Can you tell us what's new for 2025?
So for 2025, last year we decided to do something called labs, which are so most of ZorkFest, similar to like Chicago seminars or Frequent Traveler University, are sessions that you sit in. So they're more like a one-way kind of thing where you sit and you learn in the sessions, which is great. And we've got a lot of really great sessions, and all of the sessions in that schedule will be up by the end of the month. But what I came up with a new idea last year is that I wanted to have some moments in ZorkFest where you could get some hands-on experience on things. So we tested it last year with what we called casino labs. And we did a lab for craps and for blackjack, in which we have tables, and we're going to have really great tables this year. And we've got experts there, and you can crowd around the table, and those experts talk about the game, talk about the gameplay, talk about how to approach the games. And we're also doing a similar thing in the casino masterclass with video poker. And I thought that was a great idea. And I said, why don't we do it for miles and points? So we're also doing it for miles and points. The Miles and Points Labs are sponsored by one of our sponsors, which is Rome. And they are not the city, the tool. And it's listed. If you go on ZorkFest.com, on the ZorkFest website, you can see the Rome as one of our sponsors, which is a great tool for helping you find award flights.
ROAME.
Exactly. And you'll see we've listed them on the ZorkFest website. And what's really great is we're going to have what I call Miles and Points Labs. So we're going to have these small like tables set up for like labs where someone's an expert on helping you find international business class redemptions or just something like that. And you can have more of a one-on-one or a small group kind of thing about things that you specifically want to learn about. So it's like interactive, like a lab. So I think that's like a great idea. And I think it's extremely complementary to the sessions. And if you look at the schedule, you'll see when we have the labs available. So if you go to the top of ZorkFest.com, you will see that there are a bunch of tabs, and one of them is scheduled. Just to give you an idea about the way ZorkFest is starting. Registration opens on Friday at 12 noon. Then we have something new. The other new thing for this year is pre-sessions. What are pre-sessions? Pre-sessions are totally optional sessions that bring you up to speed a little bit if you've never done ZorkFest before, or if you're not familiar with one of the main topic areas. So say you're like a super well-versed or quite a bit about travel loyalty, but you don't know much about casino loyalty. And there's always like a lot of lingo and stuff that will be talked about in some of the sessions. So we decided, let's give you some pre-sessions on Friday so we can discuss some of that lingo and get you ready for it. So at 1 o'clock, we have a pre-session for travel loyalty. And then at 2 o'clock on Friday, we have a pre-session for casino loyalty. Now, this is totally optional. But what's cool about it is if you felt like you wanted to just run through a couple of things on travel loyalty to get yourself up to speed, that would be great for you to go to the travel loyalty one. If you're a travel loyalty person, miles and points, you know all that, but you don't know as much about the terminology with casino loyalty, you want to be brought up to speed a little bit, come to the one at 2 o'clock, or you're welcome to come to both of them. So that's a cool idea I had to help embrace the beginners or first time ZorkFest people. But of course, we've got many people who are miles and points experts who are not casino loyalty experts and vice versa. So this really can be useful for a number of people. Then at 3 o'clock on Friday, we have the Miles and Points Labs, which is sponsored by Rome and also the Casino Labs. And that's also optional. We also have lab sessions early on Saturday morning. And then at 5 o'clock is our traditional cocktail reception and meet and greet. So in theory, if you didn't want to do the pre-sessions or you didn't want to do the labs, you could just show up for the cocktail reception on Friday. But if you want to do the pre-sessions and labs, those are options for you. I know there are some people who are very interested in the labs and they don't want to do the pre-sessions. So the $1 million question people say to me, what time do I have to arrive at ZorkFest? It really is up to you. If you want to do all the pre-sessions and miles and points labs, or you want to poke into them, then, it starts at 1 o'clock on Friday. If you just want to come to the labs, then it starts at 3 o'clock on Friday. If you just want to come to the cocktail reception, it starts at 5 o'clock. So I think this is a unique concept for miles and points. And of course, I'm going to probably rope you into some things too.
Oh, yes. I'd be happy to talk about online blackjack, video poker in person. So lots of things. I can be the jack of all trades for sure.
So the goal was to make it not just sitting and listening to sessions and going to session after session like you're in university. The goal is to have more interactive things, which are also slightly social, right? Because a lab is really social because you've got experts there like you who are talking about specific topics. So really, I'm really happy with the idea. And I think it's really good because I don't think everyone wants to necessarily be in a classroom setting all the time when they come to things. And people learn much better sometimes in small group kind of lab sessions. Now, to me, in my brain, that's to me always what the purpose of labs was, right? Like you would go to the lectures, but when you went to the labs, you get to really try things and test things. So I really like that we've integrated that idea into ZorkFest.
And talk about the Saturday sessions. We're going to have several speakers, including people on the gambling side and the miles and points side.
The schedule is going to be up by the end of the month. The only thing changing this year is that we've got more sessions. We're running a little bit later on Saturday. So our sessions run until 7 o'clock. So in theory, ZorkFest runs from 8 a.m. to 7 o'clock. And there are a couple of slots where there are 2 sessions running simultaneously. We tried to avoid that in previous years, but we wanted to just give more options on sessions, but we did not want to run ZorkFest sessions as a 2-day kind of thing because we really felt that's too much for a lot of people and they want to enjoy their Vegas weekend. So the long and the short of it is there will be some of the sessions will be the same as the ones last year, but there will be more. There's basically more this year. So on top of what you got for ZorkFest last year, you're getting miles and points labs, and you're getting even more sessions than last year. And once again, the schedule will be up at the end of the month. I almost have it done. So it's being tweaked a little bit, which is great because you basically have the schedule up by around September 30th for an event that's in December, which I think is pretty darn good. But we did make sure that we got at least the timing of everything onto the website back in January so you could plan your airline tickets, and that's all there. So I really do encourage people to look at each tab for each day to see what's happening.
And can you list some of the confirmed speakers? Again, we're recording September 22nd, 2025. There could be more that come on or some changes, but who are the current speakers?
I hear this guy Justin is one of them. But we have Gary Leff is returning, and I got word, I think, but it's not 100% confirmed yet, that Ed Ella will be joining him. And I think many people in the travel miles and points world know who Ed Pizza is. That's just being confirmed now. Anthony Curtis from Las Vegas Advisor is returning. Dia Adams is joining us this year. She does a lot of great content with family travel. One of her focuses is family travel. We have John and Christina Mahaffey this year from Vegas Advantage. This husband and wife team knows everything about optimizing your comps, table games, video poker. They're an incredible addition. I've been wanting to get them for a couple of years. So we're going to have even more of the casino stuff this year. Dave Grossman of Miles Talk is returning. Julia of GeoBreeze Travel. Carissa is also returning. And we've got Justin. Ronnie Dunstan is new. He's from Living the High Life Secrets of Jet Setting Around the Globe for Free. Maria is new, and she has a site called Maria Points the Way. Angie from Award Travel 101 will also be speaking, and she is new. The person who is in charge of Podcasters After Dark this year will be Josh Duffy of Crap Vegas. He is returning. So I think it's a pretty good lineup, improving on what we've done before, and I'm really pretty excited about it.
Nice. Any chance for Bob Dancer or Richard Munchkin? They got me very much involved with the video poker about a decade ago.
That's an interesting one. I should talk to Anthony Curtis about that. Bug me about that next week, because we might be able to get it. I don't know if you realize this, but if you go on TravelZork.com and you search on Dancer, Bob Dancer used to write a bunch of series for TravelZork.
Oh, nice. Yes. And I know they both showed their faces on Anthony Curtis's Las Vegas Advisor show. So they're definitely more public facing at this moment. And Bob, of course, used to teach video poker classes at South Point. So he's definitely much in.
And that's a little bit of my inspiration of the masterclass we're doing on Sundays. So just to say, we do have masterclasses this year. We tested this idea last year. This year we have 3 masterclasses. The first time ZorkFest will ever have a masterclass for casino comps and gambling. And we're going to do a little bit of that with regard to video poker, because I feel that's a really important area to look at. On top of that, our host hotel, M Resort, has excellent gambling. Not only do they have all pretty much all 3-2 blackjack, they have great table limits, and they also have really good video poker. So it's really nice having a host property this year where we could be really proud about the gambling options from a table limit perspective, and also from the quality of the games, for lack of a better way to say it. So that's also really nice.
And how far is the new venue, M Resort, from the Las Vegas airport? I wouldn't recommend anyone walk from the airport to M Resort. I did hear some things that people wanted to walk from the airport to venues to see if it could be done to look for a data point. I wouldn't recommend that, but if people were to Uber, Lyft, or use some other rideshare to get to M Resort, how close is it to the airport?
It's pretty close. It's a pretty short trip. But one of the great things about M Resort is anyone who is staying at M Resort, they have a free shuttle to the airport.
Oh, very nice.
And once again, that is listed on the TravelZork website, on the ZorkFest website, under the hotel information. So they have a free shuttle. The only caveat is that shuttle only runs till 7:00 at night. But they do have a free shuttle for anyone who's using comp rooms or part of our room block, or any way you book your room at M. you can use their free shuttle to the airport. And it's one of the few properties that actually, if you want to say like you're at least getting a little bit of benefit for your resort fee, at least they have an airport shuttle. So I think that's super. I think it's super cool that they actually give back on something like that. So that's really great for people to know. Emma's not a horrible trip to the strip. It's a couple miles. You can see the strip from M Resort. So it's a great location. We love a lot of people. We've always tried to keep ZorkFest on the strip, but the challenges there are that the room rates are much higher for people who do not have comp and discount offers. The other thing is the gambling isn't as good. And it's just really, since this is a small event, you're competing with all of these large events. And it's just really hard to get the casinos interested. Like they're really, for our like private gaming and reserve tables, they're really great. So for people who want to join us on a reserve craps table, and all of this is on the schedule, or baccarat, you are not going to find on the strip a $10 craps game. And they're allowing us to do. We've got $10 and $15 games and things like that. And you're also not going to find gambling. So a lot of the stuff that we're trying to do, and we're trying to talk to people who are miles and points people of, hey, learn to play video poker as a tool to get comps. It's just really nice to have a property where there's good video poker and we can teach you things based off of the good pay tables. So even if that doesn't pan out for when you're trying to do a 10 times tier multiplier, at least you understand what the difference between good and bad video poker is and that kind of thing. And also they're a wonderful partner for us. Pretty much so on the side of people who do gamble a little bit. And if you're planning to gamble a little bit that weekend, we are being very gracious about providing comp rooms to casino players as long as you're getting offers from other casino properties. And all of that's also listed on the ZorkFest website. There's a tab about hotel information. And under the hotel information, if you go to it, Justin, I think it's pretty easy to see. There's an area that talks about getting comp rooms and that. And we're really trying to, obviously, if you don't get casino offers now, it's tough for us. Unless you're planning to gamble and you want to talk to me, we might be able to do something. So it's not meant to be like somebody tricking us and matching us to get a casino comp room, because obviously the property's being really nice about that. On top of the fact, the hotel room product at M Resort is beautiful. It is an incredible resort with an incredible pool, incredible spa. It's great if you bring someone with you. It's great for people who like non-gaming and gaming, because it just is a resort with lots of great facilities. The hotel rooms are over 400 square feet. I think they're 450 square feet. And in other exciting news, they're about to open a new hotel tower, which is going to open about a week before ZorkFest. And we're hoping, not promising yet, but we're hoping that we're going to be able to, everyone on comp rooms and also on our revenue room block for ZorkFest will be able to be in these new hotel rooms. But even their current hotel rooms that, are not the brand new hotel rooms are super nice, like way nicer than the hotel room product you would get at Horseshoe or Flamingo or something like that. So that's something good to keep in mind.
All right, good. We'll take a little break for some announcements and get back to the conversation. We mentioned ZorkFest. That's what this episode is about. You can buy your ticket at zorkfest.travelzork.com, December 5th through the 7th. I'll also be speaking at Chicago Seminars, Hyatt Regency O'Hare, November 7th through the 9th, 2025. Use promo code Gurdy when buying a ticket to support me. Also join me October 24th through the 26th, 2025 for Chicago Seminars Holiday Inn, Chicago Oakbrook. Use promo code I must have a promo code 20 for $20 off tickets. This episode is also supported by Card Pointers. If you have multiple credit cards like me, Card Pointers helps you automatically activate bank offers and knows which card to use for maximum rewards. Card Pointers saves me time and money. Use my link, cardpointers.com/hurdygurdytravel for a discount on annual and lifetime plans. I also host monthly travel and points meetups in Willow Grove, Pennsylvania. Our next meetups are September 28th and October 19th, 2025. If you're local or you want to make the trip, it's a fun, casual way to talk point strategies, meet like-minded travelers, and share ideas. RSVP at meetup.com/Philly, miles and points. Back to the discussion for ZorkFest 2025. We have two things here. Why should gamblers be interested in miles and points? And why should miles and points be interested in gambling? So first, can you please address why gamblers should be interested in miles and points? What do they have to gain?
Why gamblers should be interested in miles and points is that why gamblers should be interested in miles and points is really why anybody should be interested in miles and points, because of all of the benefit you can get for relatively little cost, even if you don't go super deep. Benefits like traveling for free. You will travel all the time for free and always be in first class and never have to worry, which is not true. As long as you understand the elements of travel loyalty, like how to on the redemption side, and then you understand the earning side, especially with promotions and credit cards and how to optimize. There are a lot of things you can do for very little cost that can earn you a lot of travel loyalty points, which you can use for travel. So in essence, in some of those instances, it really is too good to be true. You can sign up for some credit cards, and if you're regularly, remember, and this is all based on the fact that you're regularly spending money on credit cards, especially for people for their business, and you can get some 200,000 point benefits. And that's great, because then the question is, okay, I've got all of these points from Chase, which are ultimate reward points. What do I do with them? And the what do I do with them is a lot of that is covered in ZorkFest, and even covered on a granular level in the miles and points labs. So it's just tweaking what you do every day, which is spend money, and figuring out how to do it properly with credit cards. That's a great tool to learn. But then there's also the basis of, if you're just spending, bonuses for certain categories like dining, where you're getting 3 times. Maybe you spent exorbitant amount of money on dining for yourself and for your business. You can be getting 3 times points for that, and that can add up really quickly. So there's a number of things. And then also there's the issue of your actual travel and earning points through your travel, and all the other ways you can earn your points. Now, I know someone's going to chime in, or maybe not chime in, because they listen to your show and say, "Oh, I heard using credit cards is bad."
You mean Dave Ramsey isn't the official sponsor for ZorkFest 2025?
No, he is not.
Oh,
Using credit cards is not bad. Paying interest is bad. I mean,
overspending is bad.
Overspending. That's right. I am not advocating that you go and spend $5,000 eating out so you can get 3 times points on dining. That's not what I'm advocating. I'm advocating that you do what you regularly do in your life, and you earn points from it. Then the other part of it, the other group of people who might say, but I've got a cashback card and I get 2% back, or 3% back, or 1%. And my answer to that is, you can get, unless you absolutely never want to travel, or hate travel, or never go. And let's face it, everyone travels, even if they're just traveling to their family or traveling to Vegas or something like that. If you understand travel loyalty, you can get a value which far exceeds, I don't know what you would say, Justin, but I would say it far exceeds like even 2% or 3% cash back.
Oh, yes. And one big benefit is a lot of the benefits that come out of these credit cards, like seat upgrades, room upgrades, FIS, different food credits at hotels. So yes, you're generally getting more value with points compared to cash.
Even things like insurance, right?
Yeah.
Look at the Chase Sapphire card, which has a primary insurance for a rental car. That's very valuable, right? That's even more valuable because since it's primary insurance, I'm not an expert on insurance, but since it's primary insurance, you don't even have to claim it on your own car insurance policy if you have a problem with a car rental. So there's stuff like that's there. And then also you have all the other travel benefits that people love, like lounge access, and then other benefits like better boarding, free seats for flights, and all of that. It all works together. So I can't find a reason. I cannot really find a reason that a non-travel credit card is going to provide you, in most cases, more value than a travel credit card is going to provide you. or potentially a casino loyalty credit card. But I think travel loyalty credit cards provide some of the greatest amount of benefit, which can be absolutely phenomenal with regard to the benefits you use. And of course, as long as you use them responsibly, and also as long as you use them, if you're strategic on signing up for credit cards and also getting the bonuses, because those darn bonuses are unprecedented, right? A retail credit card, you're lucky if they give you a 25% off coupon or $100 bonus or something like that. Travel credit cards, they're handing out 100,000, 200,000. This stuff is worth thousands of dollars. No, I don't know of any retail credit card that comes close
Oh, no.
in bonusing you the
Yes,
way
and
travel cards do, right?
yeah, free night certificates on Hilton credit cards, going to some bougie or luxury properties. As I was recently in Amsterdam, and some of these hotels would have cost $700, $800 a night. I wouldn't have paid $700 or $800, but hey, if I could even value that at something like $200 or $300 and I got a really good enhanced experience, yeah, you're not going to be getting that from cashing out the city double cash as cashback, that's for sure. And back to the miles and points, I think there's a lot of synergy as well between the casino loyalty, as you mentioned, the casino loyalty credit cards, as you could combine your in-person gambling with the MGM iconic credit card that recently came out, and you're getting additional tier and other benefits through the credit card that you wouldn't get through gambling, or you'd have to gamble less. Like I hear from people, I don't play much at MGM, so I don't stay there. What if you could spend your way to status on the credit card and then you can use free nights and benefits and you have all these comps to use, and now you're waiving resort fees and you're using My Vegas Rewards and not having to pay for resort fees at all because you're getting 2 nights comped, and then you can go and play somewhere else.
No, it's a great example. And when then you talk about the travel loyalty people, like, why should I care about casino loyalty? The first thing I always say is fundamentally with casino loyalty, it's not like we're looking to turn you into a gambler. I love gambling. I love that, but that isn't what we're trying to do. We're trying to teach you to use gambling as a tool, potentially, to get some perks and awards that will help you on the travel side. Those kind of things like how earning casino status. And if you earn that casino status, then you'll get a waiver of resort fees. That can be very valuable for people who like to travel to Las Vegas or destinations. Because a lot of people like to go to destinations where there are casinos, but don't really like to gamble much. And that's totally fine. And then you have that other great aspect, which Justin is like, you're way more expert than I am on this, with regard to like other perks like getting free cruises. And
Yeah.
and I would say that you don't have to be a gambler to love to get free cruises. And many people who are not gamblers love free cruises. It's a tool. Like the best example when people say, what do you mean using gambling as a tool? Just like in miles and points, people will use different tools to earn extra points. Those tools might be learning about gift cards, that might be learning about reselling, things you can do which allow you to put more spend on credit cards to get more points through bonuses. So those are tools, like gift cards are a tool. Reselling is a tool. The way I simply say is that video poker is a great tool to use to earn points in casino loyalty program to get status. And especially because it's much harder to just status match than it was years ago. And you're just using it as a tool. So if you learn, and the reason why is because video poker tends to be, if you play the right games, rather low variance and a low house edge. So it's a safe game to play. And by the maths, if you learn how to play it and do it during a promotional period, there is very little monetary risk to getting the number of points that you would need to basically accomplish the tier level that you might want. And I recently tutored somebody on that with regard to the Harris, and I said Harris, Caesar's Rewards. I can still call it Harris. I can't, you just can't. Sometimes like your brain goes faster than your mouth. And it's interesting, or your mouth goes faster than your brain. But and I literally showed this person how, because this person goes to Vegas a lot, how to basically play video poker during a 10 times multiplier with very little risk, get Caesar's Diamond, and now for all of these future stays in Las Vegas, which is probably close to 30, 40 room nights, he's going to get no resort fee. That's
Yes. And 10
really valuable.
times, you mean the 10 times tier credits. So for these promotions, they had to play a tenth of what they normally would have to play. So very little cost of the theoretical house edge that they have in this video poker play. So maybe the house edge that they took on was something like $200 or $300, around that. And they're paying that in the house edge, but they're going to get all these benefits in exchange for that.
So that is a great entree into the fact that we have these master classes on Sunday. Remember, Sunday's an optional day, and master classes are an additional cost for ZorkFest. But what's brilliant about the master classes, they're at additional costs, but we also have a great lunch and there's great socialization. And we have 3 master classes. One is loyalty metrics and optimization plus booking strategies. One is creative spend 101. That is our politically correct way of talking about what they refer to in the miles and points industry as manufactured spend.
Oh, I
but
use
some of it
creative
is
spend a lot on here. I try to avoid like the words hacking and MS as much. So I talk about creative spend. It's been trending. I don't know. Maybe I was the first, maybe not, but
okay. I'll give it to you. You were the first. I'll give that to you. That's good. And then also we have a master class on casino comp maximization and video poker. You can do combinations of loyalty metrics and creative spend and loyalty metrics and casino comps, or you can just do one of them. And all of this, once again, is all the descriptions and everything except the casino. By the time you're listening to this, the casino comp maximization description should also, it's all on the website. If you go to the top tab on zorkfest.com for add-ons. So that's another really great thing to keep in mind. And then we also have, in addition to this casino comp maximization and video poker, that is something that's talked about in a few of the casino loyalty sessions on Saturday at ZorkFest, which are not an add-on, which are part of ZorkFest. But this really does circle through why this stuff is really important, and it's a lot of fun, I think, and it's enjoyable. But the other thing, which is a very broad picture, but I tend to find with casino loyalty, because casino loyalty often requires gambling, like we were talking about with video poker, and gambling is never a sure thing, right? There is the theoretical loss of what should happen based on the game, but then there is standard deviations of the variance of what can happen. So it's not a sure thing. But what's great about it is it forces your brain to analyze promotions and analyze things in that way. And I think that's a great tool to use for miles and points. So if you ever hear someone doing something like, I'm going to get all these gift cards and then I'm going to give them to a reseller and do this. And I often find that people don't always understand their risk. What's your risk involved in this? What could possibly go wrong? What's your ultimate downside? So how do I go into it? How do I approach it? Should I go big into it? Should I go small into it? And that kind of. So I think what's great about casino loyalty, it helps your thinking process, which will help you in travel loyalty. I don't know a better way, but would you agree with that, Justin?
oh yes, it's definitely in America loves math consideration and going with the punches, as there are going to be some ups and downs in gambling, but we're in it for the long game, and there are also going to be some ups and downs in miles and points. I recently got shut down by Chase. They sent me this letter that said, oh, too many accounts opened with other issuers, too many requests for credit with other issuers. And I called them and explained I'm applying for cards with other issuers because I travel a lot. I'm looking for the travel rewards and benefits, and they reinstated my accounts. So all is good. The answer to everything is probably still more credit cards, but personally, I'm going to be more cautious in opening new accounts since they seem to have soft pulled me. And in gambling, yeah, you're going to have those sessions where you end up down that, okay, if the math said that on the long run, I expected to lose 300, they're going to be a session where you're down like 700, 800. And there are also going to be sessions where you're up 7 or 8. There's some things you just have to accept as part of the game of gambling and miles and points.
Exactly. And I often tell people, if you're the type of person who can't handle any kind of risk, then I guess you're not going to be able to do some of the promotions with casino loyalty because there's less of a sure thing. Miles and points is more look at the recent JetBlue promotion and things like this. If you do this and you do this and you do this and you do this and you do this, you will get this. Casino promotions are often predicated on the fact like, yes, if you play this many tier points, you'll get multiplied 10 times, but you're still playing a game, which is a gambling game. Right. So nobody can predict for you, even though you might be playing what we call 99% video poker. What is 99%? 99% in the long term means that for every $100 you bet, you'll only lose $1. So if you did it, you said, wow, that sounds really safe. Yes, but there's the short term. Those calculations are meant on the long term, like playing 40,000, like probably in video poker, like at least a royal cycle, playing 42,000 hands.
Yeah,
Chances
a royal
are
flush
you're
for
not.
listeners. Yes.
Yeah. So chances are you're not going to play 42,000 hands. So you do have that variation of things, which you have to understand. But you need to, if you understand the risk of what you're going into. Also, not to get too into this, there are ways to protect yourself when you gamble. Not all gambling is the same. At least with video poker, playing multi-hand games at lower denomination will be a much nicer variance than playing what we call a single line game at a high denomination. So those are things you have to understand. And these are some of the things that we're going to cover in the masterclass so you don't get yourself in trouble, because the person I was going to tutor about doing video poker, he was going to jump into playing dollar single line video poker. For people who don't know what that means, it's just one line of video poker, but it would be $5 per spin. And that's, I'm not going to use the word, I don't want to use the word really risky, but that's tough. You need to be bankrolled differently than if you were playing 10 cent or 25-cent multi-hand. So there is nuance there that can protect you. It's not all as simple about like how much per spin. I don't know how
Right.
better it would
Yeah,
say.
and
You might be able.
it's a good thing with miles and points as well, because you should start small and scale up over time. So maybe in video poker, if you could play 100 hands, a total of $5, rather than one hand, a total of $5, maybe that would be less variance. So you have options. There are also trade-offs of time, because if you were to play larger denominations, you would get through the play faster. So there's some trade-offs. And even with the online blackjack, I could play $1 a hand, single hand on online blackjack. So there are trade-offs of time. There are different ways to approach it. So with both miles and points and gambling, generally, I suggest starting small and scaling up over time. And when I'm talking about gambling specifically, I'm always looking to play with an advantage. I'm not straight up gambling and just playing on the square. I think this is some misconceptions that people might have, that I'm just going to a 000 roulette table and firing off like $1,000 spins. Like, I won't be touching 000 roulette or any roulette anytime soon. I just think it's a terrible play, as can be the case with slots. As you've said before, like, just don't play slots. I stay away from that too, unless there's a very specific promotion. I stick mostly to blackjack with promotions, video poker with promotions, and Texas Hold'em, where I'm playing against other players and there's a very large skill element in the game. So lots of options for people in gambling, and of course in miles and points, depending on what travel you're looking for, or if you want to have a blended strategy of travel and cash back, as some people do. I hear from some people, I don't travel that often, so I'm looking for options also with cash back. So it's your mileage may vary, but the nice thing with both gambling and miles and points is that there are many roads to success.
Yes. And even for people who say they don't travel often, maybe they don't fly often, maybe they don't fly internationally, but they want staycation. They want things. Thing is too, unless you're going super deep into it, it's not going to be this like travel all the time for free. It's going to be optimizing certain trips a year, certain staycations a year, and things like that. Unless you truly do not leave your home and ever go to a hotel or ever fly anywhere, chances are that you travel a little bit. You have more use for it than you realize. I loved your explanation when you talk about video blackjack and things like that. People have just such misconceptions about, oh, wow, blackjack is such a low house edge. It's such a safe game to play. That whole short-term versus long-term standard deviation variance thing. Yeah, it's different. Like you said, grinding $1 a hand at blackjack is a lot different than doing $100 a hand. And remember that, so the house edge is still the same, but it doesn't really work that way. You need to understand.
All right, we'll move on to listener questions. First question from my co-host, Darren. He asks, what do you think about using Amex Fine Hotels and Resorts benefits in Las Vegas, especially now that American Express is adding more FHR credits to Platinum cards? And I'll also add that some people are signing up for Platinum and Business Platinum cards for the first time as well, because they recently refreshed the cards. So people are going to have all of these hotel benefits.
I think it's a great use of FHR because one of the challenges with FHR is that it tends to be expensive hotels, or hotels that are more expensive than the hotels that you might choose to stay at, or are a higher budget than you would want. But hotels in Vegas are very, let's just put it this way. As far as all the markets in the world, FHR hotels, which are luxury hotels in Vegas, tend to be less expensive than anywhere else. So an FHR property in Vegas, you will be more likely to find a reasonable option than an FHR property in Paris, France. And that's really good because obviously the hotels are in your budget. And then when you consider the fact that you're getting the credit, whatever, usually it's $100 credit, and you're getting breakfast, which can be between $60 and $100 a night, it's just a great time to use your FHR credit because it's a property that you would consider spending that much money for. On top of it, FHR comes with another benefit, which is a contractual 4 p.m. late checkout. And that can be very valuable, especially in Las Vegas, if you're going to pop from property to property, because most properties you can't always check in early because there is no contractual benefit. What I mean by that is like guaranteed benefit they have to give you. Early check-in is if available, but late checkout, they have to give you on FHR the 4 p.m. checkout. So you could stay at a hotel, check out at 4, and then you could go to your next hotel and be able to check in right away.
All right, and the second listener question from subscriber Eric. Thanks for your question. Please ask Michael if he can foresee a time where advanced gambling techniques are taught at ZorkFest. Maybe high-end, small group, nuanced advantage play info with networking.
It's a great question. We looked at doing something like that years ago, almost with FTU, to do it advanced. And what's really difficult with the high-end stuff is that, or I don't know, high-end's not the right word. The thing is, things are changing all the time, right? So there are some fundamentals. The important thing is learning the fundamentals and using those fundamentals to find opportunities. And this time we've basically done that with our masterclass for casino comp maximization and video poker. Whereas you might know some of that stuff, but we're talking about learning. One of the things that I do is I wander around casinos looking for opportunities. I'm pretty sure you do that too, Justin. Looking for, how does this earn? Look at this new game. This is interesting. This is a new stadium game. Does this earn tier points? Does this do that? Oh, is that single zero? How is the earning and that kind of thing? So learning those techniques is really important. The hard part about doing anything that's quote like advanced is probably the fact that things are changing all the time. They're different in other markets. And a lot of the things that people talk about who are advantage players who use a lot of techniques to earn money from casinos, they're really quiet about them because it's their livelihood. So they're less likely to share. And the best example I can give you is when there's like a quote, there's a mistake fare, a promotional fare. That's really wrong. In other words, they've mispriced it and it's posted on Flyer Talk or it's shared. Travel loyalty people tend to share a lot of those things. And then a bunch of people try to book it and then it goes away, of course, because they realize they made a mistake. That's fine. And it's travel and it's just getting an advantage on travel. But a lot of things with advantage players, APs for casinos, like this is their livelihood. This is how they make money. Like I have friends, like this is what they do. this is their career. So it's a little bit like we're not necessarily going to share some of those secrets, or you're going to have to find them, or you're going to have to become connected and network in a group of people who do those things. And that's a great place to do that is at ZorkFest. And I'm always happy to introduce people to that. But things, I would say secrets are guarded much more carefully because obviously they don't want promotions to end. They don't want them to get burned out, or they're chasing something that is a progressive or something like that. And they don't want the entire world to know about that and to be chasing it with them. So it is a little bit of a tough thing, but I think we're getting closer with the masterclass idea, which is pretty exciting about that. Also, Las Vegas Advisor does dip into some of those things, but I guess it's something to consider for the future. My other problem is that I'm just not sure how many people would really be interested in that. So it's a great question.
People can find their tickets at ZorkFest.com, ZorkFest.com. And where can people find you online and more information about TravelZork?
You can find me on all social media at TravelZork. And if you go, you can visit TravelZork.com, which is our main content website. Lots of information there. You can also visit TravelZork.travel. That has to do more so with our retail travel, luxury travel advisory site. But at TravelZork is a great place to find me on all the socials, especially I'm relatively active in X. I'm also pretty active on Instagram and responding to people. And we also have a Facebook group, which is great for TravelZork. And you can find join that Facebook group. I highly suggest it. Ask lots of questions. We love that. So there are a number of places to find me it's just easy. It's just at TravelZork, pretty much so everywhere.
Okay. And that Facebook group, you can search for TravelZork and you'll find that as well.
Yeah, I would say it's pretty easy. We also link out to the Facebook group quite often in articles on TravelZork.com. So that's great. And Justin, I know, has some great series on there, updating more content. So that's a great place to start. But you can always reach out to me. You can also there's also a contact button on the TravelZork.com website. You can reach out with questions. You can also email tips@TravelZork.com. And I would encourage people to also check out our ZorkCast Yo11 podcast, where we do our best to drop an episode every week. And that's on all podcast platforms as well as YouTube. And you can find that quite easily by searching on ZorkCast, TravelZork, Yo11. It should be pretty easy to come up with that.
All right. Thanks again for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
We'll see you in December, or maybe in the meantime in October or November. We'll find out. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. Stay tuned for future episodes. For more content between episodes, follow Hurdy Travel Podcast on Facebook and X. Follow Justin Vacula on Instagram. Subscribe to Hurdy Travel Podcast on YouTube for daily content, including travel videos, podcast clips, and posts. Find more information, including select episode transcripts, at hurdygurdytravel.com. Search Hurdy Travel on subscribestar.com or become a channel member on YouTube to support my efforts starting at the $5 a month tip jar level. Receive special perks at higher subscriber levels, including private one-on-one conversations about card strategy, creative credit card spending, and asking podcast guests your questions. The website udio.com created the podcast intro and outro music. It's not me singing. AI features of the website Descript helped me edit and improve audio quality. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.
Travel at low cost with points and miles. Credit card rewards bring the smiles. Many adventures, tales to be told. Make and save money, the world will unfold. Fight the war on happiness, pick up the gold. Hurdy Travel Podcast breaks the mold.